I cheated on my husband, and now every time he says, "I love you," I feel like I'm being crushed from the inside. And the worst part? I say it back, like I didn't completely betray him, like I didn't become the exact kind of person I always said I would never be. I don't even know who I am anymore. We weren't always like this. That's what keeps messing with my head the most. Because if our marriage had always been cold, always distant, always empty, maybe I could understand how I got here. But it wasn't. We were that couple, the annoying, inseparable, always touching, always laughing couple people secretly hated. He used to look at me like I was something rare, like he couldn't quite believe I chose him. And I felt the same way. Everything with him felt easy. Not boring easy, safe easy. Like I didn't have to perform, didn't have to pretend, didn't have to question where I stood. I knew. I remember one night, we had no money, both broke, sitting on the kitchen floor eating cheap pasta straight from the pot. And he just leaned his head against mine and said, "I don't care if we're poor forever, as long as it's you." And I laughed and told him he was being dramatic. But secretly I thought, I could live like this forever. Somewhere along the way, we stopped being us. And I genuinely don't know exactly when it happened. There wasn't a big moment, no explosion, no betrayal, just time, routine, life. At first it was small things. He stopped texting me during the day, then he stopped calling. Then conversations became functional, like we were co-workers managing a household instead of two people in love. "Did you pay the bill? What do we need from the store? I'll be late." And I told myself it was normal, that this is what happens in long-term relationships, that passion fades, but stability matters more. But no one talks about what it feels like when it's not just passion that fades. It's connection. I tried to fix it. God, I tried. I suggested date nights. I bought new clothes, did my hair differently, tried to feel attractive again. I initiated conversations, asked him about his day, his thoughts, his feelings. Sometimes he responded, but it always felt surface level. Like I was knocking on a door he wasn't opening anymore. I remember one specific night that I can't get out of my head. I planned everything, cooked his favorite meal, cleaned the apartment, lit candles like some desperate cliché. I even practiced what I wanted to say in my head. Nothing dramatic, just, "I miss us." He came home late, walked in, looked around. "Smells good." That's all. He ate, scrolled his phone, barely looked at me, went to bed early. And I sat there alone, staring at the candles burning down, feeling stupid, feeling invisible. That was the first time I thought, maybe I'm not enough anymore. The loneliness didn't hit all at once. It built slowly, in quiet moments. In the silence after I said something and he didn't really respond. In the way he stopped noticing things about me. In the way he stopped touching me unless I touched him first. And eventually, I stopped trying. Not because I didn't care, but because caring started to hurt. So I became quieter too. Less demanding, less emotional, less me. We became comfortable strangers, living in the same space, sharing the same bed, but existing in completely different emotional worlds. Then my coworker came into the picture, and I hate how predictable that sounds. I hate that I became that story. But it didn't feel like a cliché while it was happening. It felt small, innocent, harmless. At first, he was just someone easy to talk to. He noticed things, not in an intense way, just subtle. "You seem tired today. That presentation you did was really good." You always explain things so clearly. And I didn't realize how much I missed being seen until someone started seeing me again. The first real crack happened on a random Tuesday. I was having a bad day. Nothing major, just one of those days where everything feels heavier than it should. He asked me if I was okay. I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." He looked at me for a second and said, "You don't seem fine." And something in me just gave in. Not completely, but enough. I admitted I'd been stressed, that things felt off. He didn't interrupt, didn't try to fix it. He just listened. And that hit me harder than anything, because I couldn't remember the last time my husband had listened to me like that. After that, it became a habit. Talking, laughing, sharing small things, then bigger things. He remembered details, followed up on things I mentioned days ago, checked in. And I started to look forward to it. That's the part I hate the most. Not what happened later, but how much I wanted that attention. I knew I was crossing a line emotionally before anything physical happened, and I didn't stop. That's on me. There were moments where I could have pulled back, should have pulled back, but I didn't want to lose that feeling of being wanted, of being interesting, of being alive again. At home, I felt like a background character. At work, with him, I felt like the main focus. The night everything happened wasn't planned, at least not consciously. We went out after work, just drinks, just talking, just us. We laughed more than I had laughed in months. And then there was a moment, quiet, heavy, where everything shifted. He looked at me differently, not like a coworker, not like a friend, and I didn't look away. That was the moment, that exact second. That's when I made the choice. Even if I didn't say it out loud. I wish I could explain what I was thinking, but the truth is, I wasn't. I wasn't thinking about consequences. I wasn't thinking about my husband. I was thinking about how it felt to be wanted again. And I let that matter more than everything else. The second it was over, everything crashed down. Reality hit so fast it felt physical, like something snapped back into place in my brain. I remember sitting there, heart racing, thinking, what did you just do? I couldn't even look at him properly. I felt sick. Not because of him, because of myself. The drive home is something I'll never forget. My hands were shaking on the steering wheel. I kept replaying it over and over, trying to undo it, trying to convince myself it wasn't real. But it was, and there was no going back. When I walked into the apartment, it was quiet, dark. He was asleep. Of course he was. I stood there for a long time, just watching him, and I felt this overwhelming wave of guilt hit me, because he looked so peaceful, so unaware, so trusting. I got into bed carefully, trying not to wake him, but he moved anyway, wrapped his arm around me in his sleep, pulled me closer, like it was instinct, like it was automatic, and I broke. Not loudly, not dramatically, but inside, something completely shattered. Because in that moment, I knew I didn't want anyone else. I wanted him. It's been a month now. I ended everything with my coworker immediately. No closure, no emotional goodbye, just distance. Cold, necessary distance. He tried to talk about it once, asked if I regretted it. I said yes, without hesitation. But regret doesn't fix anything. It just sits there, heavy, constant. Every time my husband smiles at me, every time he casually touches my arm, every time he says something normal, every day, completely unaware, it feels like I'm being crushed from the inside. And here's the part that's messing with my head the most. I think things are slowly getting better between us. Not dramatically, but small things. He lingers a little longer when he looks at me. He asks me random questions again sometimes. He touched my back the other day while walking past me in the kitchen. And it felt like everything and nothing at the same time. And now I don't know what's worse. The idea of telling him, or the idea that we might actually fix things while I'm hiding something this big. Because if I tell him, I could destroy everything. But if I don't, then what are we even rebuilding? I don't recognize myself anymore. I used to be so sure of who I was, so sure of what I would never do. And now I'm living with something I can't undo, something I can't take back, something that could ruin the most important relationship in my life. So I'm asking people who don't know me, people who won't protect me, people who will just tell me the truth. Do I tell him and risk losing everything? Or do I stay silent and try to become a better wife without ever letting him know what I did?
If you like this story, you'll find more like it on my channel.